Man, it's only been just a few days since my last Stadia news video, and in those days we've had a crap ton of news to talk about. So in this video, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the recent APK Teardown to find new information about a referral program, more hints at family sharing, messaging, and a new voice in captures. There's also been a bunch of game ratings to the point where we have to wonder if there is a Stadia Connect that is coming soon. There's also some good titles in these ratings, so I'll be covering that. Unfortunately, though, we do have some bad news, though. The new Chromecast will not be featuring Stadia, so I'm going to have some stuff to say about that. We have an action-packed Stadia news video. Sit back, pull up your chair, smash that like button, as well as subscribe for more Stadia news videos like this. But alright, let's start with the recent APK Teardown from 9 to 5 Google, where they look deeply into the code to find what Stadia is working on behind the scenes for features that will be rolling onto the platform. Keep in mind though, even though Stadia is working on these, that doesn't technically mean we'll see these rolled out. With that, let's start with the newest thing that I've seen. That is a new referral program with benefits. Apparently, the way that this will work is the person you give your referral to will receive 1 month free on top of their trial. So then in turn, you'll get a free month yourself, but only after they have paid for their first time with the $9.99. The other thing they picked up on is that so far it is only applying to consumers in the US and Canada. But if I were to guess, this will change if and when this referral program launches, but we'll see. I think this is great for the platform and I welcome this, and I feel like it doesn't hurt in any way, so I do hope that this gets rolled out pretty soon. Another thing that we found out was voice in captures. So when you save a clip with the built-in capture button, it will have to where it can capture your voice and reaction at the same time as the clip. That's kind of neat, but there was nowhere to be found if this was something that can be turned off. Moving on to family sharing. Now, we've seen this a dozen times at this point, but the difference here is that it looks as though they found something where Stadia Pro games can be shared with family members. They also found that more than one person in the family group can share their personal copy of a game. Everything will get shared. That includes add-ons, purchased games, and pro games as well, and you won't need a subscription to play. The last thing to note is that the family group will need to have a credit card / a debit card attached. Overall, my thoughts on this have to be that they are ridiculously close to launching this any day now, and I can't personally imagine much more that can be added. Also, we have more on the Stadia messaging app. You'll have to manually enable messaging before you can receive or send, and there will be a smart reply feature for quicker responses with a generic reply. And the last thing with this teardown we have is something called Google One benefits, which was found near codes with Stadia offers and free trials. 9 to 5 guessed that it would be a special perk or benefit if you're subscribed with Google One. With all that though, we got a lot of juicy info here, and like usual, I implore Stadia to release family sharing sooner rather than later. My goodness, we're crazy. It's crazy because we're almost a year into the launch and I still haven't seen it. And I think it's about time it gets here soon. So let's hope that that happens sooner rather than later. All right, let's jump into some games talk, because if I'm being honest, this is what excites me the most. And we have a lot of good games that just got more ratings. So many, in fact, that it's prompting people to think and wonder if this is the Stadia Connect that could be coming on the horizon. And that just might be the case. Now, some of these have previously been rated on other rating boards, but when you see them in multiple places, it feels safe to say they are headed our way. Let's start with two of the newest games on here that we haven't seen at all, starting with Outward, recently rated for the ESRB and a title desperately needed on Stadia because of its genre. It's an open world RPG survival game that brings a lot of old school RPG elements like the old RuneScape days or Ultima Online. Now, the game was made by just 9 people. It's a fantastic title enjoyed by thousands. It does have some mixed reviews, but it's mostly good, and I'm happy and somewhat shocked to see it potentially headed to Stadia. If you're a fan of RPGs, open world, and some old school action, I think you're gonna enjoy this one. The other new title that was rated that we hadn't seen before is Secret Neighbor. This is a multiplayer game, and it isn't like Hello Neighbor. It is almost almost in the same vein as something like a Dead by Daylight, because you have 6 players that sneak into a house only to find out which one of them is the neighbor in disguise. It's your job to find out who that secret neighbor is, while if you're the secret neighbor himself, you're trying to prevent the intruders from succeeding. I will fully admit to you guys though that this game doesn't look to have crossplay as far as I can tell on any of the consoles or PC. So this game could be dead on arrival unless crossplay is instituted with possibly at least the PC players at the minimum. With this though, this is the most popular game of the series, and this is another welcomed addition to the library, but once again it will need crossplay considering it is a multiplayer only game. Now the other games that were rated here are ones that we have heard before in one way, shape, or form, but once again this is just more proof that they are headed to Stadia. We have Far Cry New Dawn. I do hope we see this one before Far Cry 6, as I'd love to dive into it. Saints Row the Third, the full package. Now I think this game has been rated by Peggy, and I know a lot of you would love to see this one, so I'm hoping we get it soon. We have SpongeBob, again got a rating. Now this is a game that I'm actually looking forward to because it's gotten good reviews across the board, and the game doesn't come off as kiddie as I thought, so I am looking to see how this one looks and runs and plays on Stadia. We also have Just Dance 2021 also got rated. We have a lot of other games here that are getting ratings left and right, and it does make me wonder if we will see a possible connect here, maybe on the back end of a Outcasters being announced and hype, since it is a game that is launching as a Stadia title. I mean, it's possible we see a connector and announcement soon, but guys, don't get too hyped, as this could just be a flurry of games that we're getting, as Stadia is just looking to actually hit that 120 mark that they promised back in January. And honestly, I wasn't expecting that considering the delays that have happened with the virus in the gaming industry. So it's been a welcome thing to see so many games that are headed here, and I fully expect most of these games here within the next couple months, but we'll see. Stay tuned and make sure you're watching the channel. Alright, let's move on though. Stadia announced secretly on their Stadia save point about a new Tandem Mode where you link your Stadia controller wirelessly to Stadia first, then you plug a secondary controller directly into the USB-C port, then that secondary controller will act as the primary. Then you're able to use both controllers on the game. It's an interesting new mode on Stadia. I really don't have much to say other than it exists, so I'm letting you guys know. Also announced that this save point was USB-C headsets now work via the Stadia controller, and they work while playing on either your Chromecast or the Chrome browser. Now this is amazing news, and I'm glad to see this as a fully supported working feature on the controllers. So if you have a USB headset and you've been waiting to test this out and try it, you are now good to go. Alright, let's finally hit our last topic of the day, and it's without a doubt the most controversial. I won't go crazy deep into this, but I do need to talk about it because I know a lot of you guys, including myself, were anticipating that this new Sabrina Chromecast would potentially be something that's game-changing or new for Stadia. Unfortunately, none of that looks to be the case, and the new Chromecast, called Chromecast with Google TV, will not have Stadia support until sometime in the first half of 2020. Not only that, but to pile it on, apparently the regular Chromecast Ultras are no longer in stock at all the major US retailers, including the Google store itself, thus eliminating one way to play Stadia. Now this is all pretty unfortunate news all around, but one thing that I was pleased with was the fact that they did communicate right away that Stadia would eventually get support at some point, instead of leaving us with no information like they have in the past, and leaving really many Stadia fans potentially angered. With that, this is a major misstep because a lot of people are going to be buying this new device, and not having the Stadia app already on it, even paired potentially with a few free months on Google-owned devices, seems like a massive oversight. Not sure how this happened, and pair it with the fact that you can no longer get a hold of a Chromecast Ultra. Yikes. One thing to note, you can sideload Stadia onto the Chromecast with Google TV, but there is a good chance that it's not going to run super smooth or good, but keep that in mind that you can still do it and you can still get Stadia on there. Alright guys, let me know your thoughts on all the news in today's video. My goodness, it was jam-packed and exciting in some moments for me personally. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say on the new games, the APK breakdown, or the Chromecast dilemma. Let me know all your thoughts down below in the comments. As always, I'm Sunny, and I'll see you guys in the cloud.